I'm gonna be high as a fucking man.
And now, the stationary astronaut.
All right, Burt Wellington here at the first ever Lincoln Drink. We're with the founder, the curator. His name's Brandon. He's formerly known as Sprinkles from Social Butterfly. Brandon, what's your name? What's your mission, big dog?
My name is Brandon Polazuk. My mission is to make things happen in one way, shape, or another. I just want to make things happen, whether it's connections, make some moves, get everyone in the same place, and get like-minded people in the same place.
What's your specialty?
My specialty is I'm relentless,
Okay.
and I'm a people pleaser.
Yes.
So when I don't please people, I internally get upset, and I go 10 times harder, and that fuels my fire. It's nothing extraordinary. It's just who I am.
Let's go, dude.
I'm out.
I'm out. Matt, step up to the plate, big boy. Matt's got a big move coming his way. Oh, my Lanto. We got Caleb, too. Matt, what's your name? What's your mission?
My name is Matt Miyake.
Don't go anywhere, Miles.
And my mission is to keep pushing the boundaries, to keep allowing people in the cities to see that we can do good things here, and we don't have to be from New York or LA to do things. The internet kind of makes us all on the same playing field, no matter where you're at. So
let's go,
I just keep
dude.
making stuff, making one-on-one clothing, making clothing with Kovert, and doing these art events, putting our friends on.
Got my jacket right here.
Got the jacket. That's love. But yeah, just keep pushing the boundaries is my mission, I would say.
I love it, Matt. Thank you so much. He's got that big dick energy. Miles, what's up, baby?
How you doing?
What's your name? What's your mission?
Miles, a.k.a. Miles.
Okay.
A.k.a. Minnesota's most slept-on secret.
Let's go.
But yeah, we're out here just doing the same thing.
Yes.
All about the frequency. Multiple mediums, art, fashion, soccer. Yeah. I actually just went pro. I'm trying to go pro again. So
let's go.
Trying a little combination, just trying to elevate, get us overseas wherever I'm at.
Let's go, dude.
But it's all about thinking different, and just like a lot of people be doing the same stuff, but everything is just recycled different anyway. So, we're just trying to bring our own flavor, just try to, demolish the box. That's it.
Dude, that's what I love, man. You're trying to get us outside of it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Where did you hear about Lincoln Drink?
This man right here who just spoke before me, Matt. So
Matt be passing on the word.
Yeah, Matt slept on. One of the biggest connectors in the city. He's out here.
Did you ever play any other sports besides soccer?
Yeah, I played hockey for 15 years.
Okay.
That shit killed me to pick. But
Man, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you,
and you got all the support from the astronauts on your future endeavors.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I love
it. Spacey.
Spencer, the cameraman wizard for Social Butterfly. This dude is a drone pilot, if anyone didn't know. Spencer, step up to the plate. What's your name? What's your mission?
My name is Spencer Suffalo. My mission is usually just to create dope content, and hopefully it actually serves a purpose and not just looks good.
You've been on multiple mission trips over the last, since I've known you.
Yeah.
You're always flying out. What's the most memorable one where you were able to make the biggest difference?
So I think this last summer was definitely the biggest impact for me. And it wasn't so much that I felt like I made a huge impact. I think it was that I felt so small that it encountered me the most. Just seeing a whole country, I was in Jordan in the Middle East, seeing a whole country have no access to the gospel. And even if they wanted to know, they couldn't know because it's like not legal for them to switch if they wanted. Even if they wanted to be a Christian, they couldn't because their family would disown them, their country would disown them, and that's how a lot of countries are over there. And I think that was the hardest thing for me, knowing that I can live like in America with such luxury. I can be a Christian, I can believe what I want, and it's like very obviously known to me. Like you can find a church like every other block in America. And if people don't want it, they can choose not to. But if they want it, they can go find it. Whereas in a lot of countries in the Middle East, Northern Africa, Southern Asia, they can't. Like there's just no knowledge of it. And it's so sad knowing that people can be free from like all the bondage and brokenness in their life, but they don't know about the answer to that. Like, and the answer being Jesus. And
how did you conquer that hurdle when they were unable to take the leap of faith?
I think it's hard because, like, when you experience something and you know that it's true, like I've seen Jesus work in my life. I've seen him work in other people's lives, both like the emotional, internal stuff and like physically, like healings, like physical breakthrough in people's lives. And when you know God is real and working and wants to work and he loves people so much and he's not there to like judge and bring shame, and people, because of what their culture has said, they don't see it as something they would ever believe, it like breaks my heart, honestly. And like that's why I continue to like look for opportunities to go back. And that's why me and my fiance, once we're married and she graduates, we're probably going to go over there long term and just have conversations with people and give them the opportunity and trust that God will show himself as worthy to people, because God chooses to use us as humans because he loves us. We're his children. And even though it's not the most practical, he could encounter people way easier. He could just show up, boom, if he wanted, but he chooses to use us. So it's, I don't know, it's just a burden on my heart. Once you see it, it's like you can't unsee it.
Congratulations on getting engaged, by the way. Now, in regards to one area in your life where the light has just shone through, could you give us an example of where a promise has been made and kept by your higher power and how it's shown through in your life?
Yeah, I feel like there's so many that I could choose.
You're a blessed individual.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest one is just, I mean, I'm going to use this one right now because I'm getting married soon, and I think all the ways that me being a broken person, I wanted to like go my own way, and the Lord still blessed me with such an amazing woman. She's so mature, so biblical. She knows how to live. She knows how to love people. She's selfless. She serves. Like, that's just such a beautiful thing that we can both walk into a marriage knowing that like there's no records of wrongs. Like, we wake up every day and we can love each other. And like, I don't know, it's just like in a culture where marriage is so broken, like more and more people are getting divorces, and we have people in Hollywood who are like on sets teaching people how to live marriages when they themselves are the worst at marriage.
Straight up.
And I'm very thankful that the Lord has blessed me with someone who not only does she know how to walk into a marriage, but he's also blessed me with teachers that have taught me how to enter marriage. And the answer to that being keeping Jesus at the center, because she's never going to make me fully happy. I'm never going to make her fully happy. But if we approach it with unconditional love, so like my love is not based off of how well she performs as my wife. It's not based off of physical. It's not based off of how good she makes me feel emotionally. It's not based off of how well she raises our kids. Like, my love to her is based off the fact that Jesus loved me first, and she does the same to me. And that's the biggest thing I see, because like we're both going to be spared from so much pain and heartbreak because of that. So many marriages encounter so much pain because there's not unconditional love. So that's one of the biggest things for me right now, just looking at that and realizing how lucky and blessed I am.
That level of understanding is something that's wiser than your years, and it's a gift. And you are very lucky to have already come to that conclusion in life, because if so many couples went into their marriage with that level of understanding, could you imagine how low that divorce rate would be, where there's just nothing but unconditional love?
Oh, for sure. I know couples that by the world standards and by American culture standards would have had a divorce long ago. Like, people are broken, they mess up. But because of basing that foundation on Jesus, they can come back together and say, okay, marriage is for life. Marriage, like the definition of marriage, like it's a biblical thing that is not meant to be broken. There's not meant to be an end. The end is meant to be like when we leave this life. And there, like, statistically, there would be 0% divorce rate if everyone approached marriage that way. Like, that's just how it would be, despite us still being imperfect people. So
I'm glad you brought up the Hollywood example, because it's gross when you see a couple get engaged like Ariana Grande, Pete Davidson. You knew once he got his 6th or 8th tattoo of her on his body, it ain't going to work. One I was just remarking on the other day is Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Mm-hmm. How awesome is that? How they've been able to just stick it out through all the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs. Same thing with The Rock and his wife. You know they're approaching it in a different way, as opposed to the material, external way that so many people hop into these relationships down the Walk of Fame.
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%.
Spencer, you're a beast. I can't wait. I'm going to film your wedding. You don't know this yet. I just self-appointed myself. So I'm going to be rolling around with the cameras, boy, while you walk down the aisle. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, man.
Mr. Raff, the dude who wore the most flamboyant purple suit I have ever seen to the Gary Vee event. You told me you were going to wear a purple suit. I didn't know you were coming looking like a fucking prince.
Yep. I wore a purple suit all the way. You know, I'm in Minnesota, so, you know, we got to wear our purples right. You know what I mean?
You look like a sultan from Aladdin.
That was the plan. How many sultans do you get at an event anyway?
Dude, I was surprised because, like, we were in the dinner, and in comes this dude. I thought for sure you were about to take my job. So I'm like, that dude looks like he's should have rode in on a fucking magic carpet.
That was the plan.
So hit us with what's your name, what's your mission, dog?
So I'm Raf. My full name's Rafat. My real name's Rafat, but all my friends call me Raf. And my colleagues call me DJ Raf. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the music business. I have a record label that is like Asia's #1 hip-hop label. And we have a lot of artists. I work as an artist manager as well. So we do a lot of things in the U.S. and Asia. So it's a little bit of everything.
I get the feeling you're selling yourself short because you did our video intro for all of our YouTube videos. Right. You created it.
Right, yeah. That's like one of the skills I had to acquire to become this guy. You know what I mean? So, like, early on, I started to learn a lot of different types of things, from marketing, Photoshop, video. It just had to be done to do the other things that I'm doing, you know, to accomplish the mission. So that video editing and video stuff is like just one of those things that I really love and enjoy doing. And I love doing it.
Okay, where can people reach you?
Instagram, @DJAYRAF.
Go find him, folks. This is the Sultan of SWAT, Mr. Raff. I love you,
Sultan
baby.
of swag.
How ironic is it? Because now we got Mr. Pharaoh stepping up to the plate.
Yo, what's up, man?
Pharaoh?
First of all, I want to say this is long overdue. Second of all, I just want to say I respect your consistency, man. Just everything that I see you doing is it doesn't fall out. There's never a time where I'm kind of like, it falls off for some people after a certain amount of time. It's easy to be consistent for a short period, and it's much more respectable to just continue to do it. So.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, and kudos to you because the same goes to you as well because you're Mr. Consistency.
Yeah, man.
What's your name? What's your mission?
Yeah, I'm Pharaoh. My mission is to spread music, good energy, and try to inspire by being transparent about the things that I go through and the ways I overcome it.
You got a new project out.
I do. Mufasa is Dead. Yeah. You can find it anywhere. If you go to any streaming platforms, go to SoundCloud, if you go to YouTube, you type in Mufasa is Dead. You can find it there, and then you'll find my artist page and all that stuff. So
I don't mean to fluff your pillow, but it's a clean-ass project. It's one of those where it's like, wait a minute, because you know the Midwest sound.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely.
know how, like, you can go LA-based sound, New York sound, Miami sound, Houston, Atlanta sound, where it's A1. It's typically A1 from the engineering production side. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can tell you're also a producer, engineer, just by listening to this project.
Yeah. And it's a big process, and aside from just it being sonically very pleasing, and I wanted the record just to be done just so I could enjoy it. It means a lot to me just because of a lot of the things that happened, before it inspired the project. Because Mufasa is Dead is just a different way of saying lion is dead. So, like, honesty. And it's just extreme forms of that,
Hold on.
Giving out, man.
Dude, you're making Dr. Phil sit down, dog.
Yeah.
You're making Dr. Daddy Phil sit down, big
yeah,
boy.
Man.
Okay, so I was just on the Wiseman show last week.
Yeah.
And they were hitting me with knowledge about you I didn't even know.
Uh-huh.
So what did the trials and tribulations that you went through, what did it tell your spirit that brought out this, what I would call a masterpiece that you just released?
I went to McNally Smith in St. Paul and got my bachelor's in music production. The only reason I did that was because I just needed to learn how to record and mix myself, essentially. It wasn't for any other purpose than I just want to be in full control of everything that I do. And, the fact that I am has allowed me to craft my sound directly between me and Realistic Productions, who's my co-producer. Nobody touches anything else. And it all comes, I released the project, and then afterwards I was outside and I was like, man, I didn't even have any features on it. I don't even think about it. I'm just so used to, I can do everything. And it's just a continuous process of failing and eventually you become a professional at turning it into fuel. So it just doesn't feel like failing, it just feels like more fuel.
That's actually probably the underlying blueprint of all these 100 people that are in this room right now.
Absolutely.
Is so many of us, you look around, we failed to win, dog.
Absolutely.
And those are the kind of people I like surrounding myself with because what does it build? It builds character.
Yeah.
You know those people who they never lose, and then once they do, it like hits them like a brick shit house, and then they have a come apart because, oh my God, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I want you to lose and lose a lot and lose early.
Oh, yeah. I have sacrificed everything to the point where I have nothing to lose, and that has put me in the best position of my life because I have nothing to lose. You just have to travel with that mindset everywhere. Understand that first of all, my biggest advice is always just to become outgoing. I trained myself to become outgoing. Half of the time I'm introverted and, get social anxiety and stuff, but doing things like this year when I was giving out free water at the state fair in exchange for, following me and playing my music.
Props to that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it was just there with just me a lot of the time, forcing me to just be super out of my shell. And that has changed me, allowed me to just jump into any situation now and understand that, we're all just humans at the end of the day.
Where'd your name come from before we let you go?
Yeah, man, it's not even that deep, bro. Honestly, I need to come up with a better story. My friend's little brother was really into like Yu-Gi-Oh, and there was a pharaoh on there, and then I think like one day he called me Pharaoh, and I just started saying, I was like, man, that's kind of cool, but shortly after it made me feel empowered. I feel like I have to be dope because I can't be trash and named Pharaoh. I don't go too heavy into the Egyptian themes, right? I do the eye. It's a part of my logo on the triangle. But I just wanted the name to kind of represent me and change the meaning a little bit. So, it's less of like the big power at the top of the pyramid and more about me. I just happen to have the name Pharaoh.
Bro, no matter what, you are putting on right now.
Yeah.
And you are the Pharaoh of Minnesota right now. You're about to be the Pharaoh of the Midwest. You're about to be the Pharaoh of the country.
No other. And I will one day have a Twitter handle and everything that just says Pharaoh. I'm going to buy Pharaoh one day. I have to buy that. I don't know who has that Twitter account, the Instagram account, but we'll go into negotiations and trade one day. They can have that at Love of Pharaoh.
We're going to find them, dog.
We will find them, man. But as soon as I've seen people with the names like Triple X, Tentacion, there's so many people with really large names, I felt better about it. It's not that complex, man.
You're telling me I got fucking 2 long-ass names. Stationary Astronaut.
Yeah, how'd you get that?
Bro, how'd I get it?
Yeah.
So have you ever meditated?
What?
Have you ever meditated?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you realize when you meditate is, oh my gosh, I have this deeper connection to the universe. And anyone who's ever done psychedelics or meditated, you realize I am tapped into the stars by being right here and being still. So I am a stationary astronaut. And what it really means, if you go deep, deep, deep within yourself, you can reach the stars.
That's amazing. Once you started describing it, it makes a lot of sense now. That's a brilliant idea, and it's empowering, too.
It's an absolute oxymoron.
Yeah, man. It's incredible just to see all of your guys' progress with this. Obviously the whole Gary Vee situation was incredible to see. It was inspiring. And, when I met you guys were incredible people, so I knew that everything was going to work out.
Bro, I met you at a pool party.
I met you at a pool party, absolutely. It must have been like 4 days after I'd called off my engagement.
Oh,
no, it was, I'm sorry, it was 2 days.
Dog.
Yeah.
So I like to consider myself a little bit in tune with, like, I can vibe with people and I can kind of meet them where they're at. Mm-hmm. When I met you that night, I was like, dude, there's a reason why this motherfucker drove down to Rochester just to hang out with a bunch of weirdos at a pool party.
Oh, absolutely. I completely. And it was, you guys don't know this, but at the time it was so incredible because I was with my cousin who I hadn't seen in months at the time. I'd gone on like this long walk that day. I mean, and this is the second day after the engagement ended, and you know, she that day I remember had called and wanted to come on this, you know, drive with me and whatever, and I, you know, had to consistently that was when I had to block the number and whatever, but it was in the midst of this very different time, but that gave me so much optimism. It just made me feel incredible. It was the first step to living life, and I was just ready to be on this journey. So, you know, that night meant a lot more to me than meets the eye.
Bro, you were uber positive that night.
Yeah.
And now I'm backlogging knowing your circumstance.
Yeah.
Super props, dog, because Lord knows it's never easy. But the thing is what does it do? It creates beautiful motherfucking art.
Absolutely. Mufasa's dead. Everywhere, all over streaming platforms.
Everyone needs to go check it out. You need to go tap into Pharaoh on Spotify. This dude is onto something. Sonny, my boy, my partner, thank you for linking us up. Things are beautiful. Pharaoh, you already know we're going to be sitting down for a long form.
Oh,
here
yeah.
When I get back from tripping balls down in South America.
Nice.
So, we'll talk soon.
Ayahuasca?
Of course.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Pharaoh.
High five, dude.
My brother. Mufasa
awesome.
is dead. Go check it out.
Appreciate you.
Mr. Eberts, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ben just walked up to me and he wanted to stroke my ego, but I said, no, man, you're going to do this on the microphone. So, Ben, what's your name? What's your mission?
My name's Ben Eberts. To be honest, I don't have a mission right now. I'm still trying to figure that out. My mission in life for the last 10 years is to survive and keep on moving forward. And unfortunately, I have not found that diamond in the rough like you have, of where you're like, this is my piece, and this is what I'm gonna go with, you know, all out. I've looked at things like what Gary says, and I'm like, shoot, dude, I would go 100% in on something if I could find out what that is inside me that makes me tick. And I took Gary's advice, and he's like, well, just try everything. And if it fails, at least you tried it. So it's like, man, years ago, I was a pastor. I do management technology at a medical facility. I'm interning doing social media management, and I'm trying to help my wife figure out her passions, because I'm the gas behind the vehicle. You give me the vehicle, I will get that car going. And so I'm sorry, man, I don't have a mission, but I can rant for a long time if you need me to.
It sounds like you do have a mission, though. You're not admitting it to yourself.
What would you see it as?
You
then?
sound like you're a glue piece. You sound like you are someone who has the energy, who can walk into a room, and you can go to every employee in a room and say, you're killing it, you're killing it, you're killing it, you're killing it. If you're a pastor, you know what a pastor does? They're the controller of the energy in a room.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like you are.
And I would agree with that. I think that hits on the head. The best that I've ever come up with is, if I could find my niche, like, I'm a good, like, number 2 in a business. Like, I'm not going to be the one running the business, but I will be that person. If you take over a business, I'll be that VP that would continue to follow, continue to go. I'll be the one that you give me the mission or the desire. And if I believe in what your mission is, I'm going to make sure everybody else believes in it. I'm not going to be false, and I'm not going to listen to people's BS. And if your mission sucks, and if I don't believe in you, I'm done. And that's what I've kind of seen. But it's hard to market yourself that way, you know? Like, be a self-promoter, like, hey, I'm not the entrepreneur. I'm the one who finds an entrepreneur and helps push them. You know what I mean? That's not as it's not as glamorous and doesn't look as good on Instagram or LinkedIn. So,
in the grand scheme of things, you're the most respected person in the room, being a number 2. What people need to realize, what they just heard, is that this man totally took his ego, he wrapped it up in tinfoil and punted it out the fucking front door, is what he just did. Because not enough people, Ben, can realize that early enough before the cookie crumbles. Before the ship sets sail or it sinks, they're unwilling. Everyone thinks they're a wolf in the room. I've realized that so often, being this fucking dude who's just rolling, dog. And the thing is it doesn't always work like that. I have had over the last year, bro, I have had to basically, even with Gary Vee, I took the back seat in so many different circumstances, and everybody wanted to come to me for answers, and it was like, motherfucker, this is not happening. I need to let go and let God. And then hopefully that man will lead me in the right direction, because it got to the point when you have a team compiled of 54 people, it's like, oh boy. At that point, that organism is so big where it's like, I need a Ben so he can relieve my stress and tell these mother truckers or push these mother truckers, because all you can do is influence at that time. You can only sway. You get my drift? When the organism has grown so big, it's like, that's where I need a Ben in my life. And your purpose, Ben, is so great. And it is up to you to understand that, acknowledge it, and realize it, because your wife depends on it.
It's true. Damn.
They call me Astro Phil. I take donations in free beers.
In free beers. Hey, we got plenty of those. I'll line you right up, man.
My bro. So where are you coming from, Ben?
So I live in Minnetonka right now here in Minneapolis. So, I didn't drive as far as you did from Rochester, but just came right across.
Dude, are you ready to get your ball rolling?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Because Lincoln Drink, that's what this is meant to do. That's why we're doing it. Is so our friends who we've met via social media typically, where they might attend our stuff, but it's like, dude, I want to sit face to face with you. I want to get to know you, because we are a team. We're a unit, and we just might not know it yet.
And I love what you guys are doing, because it's like the gal up front, when I was checking in, like I just connected and I was like, okay, this isn't stuffy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like everyone's in here in a suit. Some people are, which that looks good on them. But it's not like you're walking in with this almost hidden agenda of like, every person you meet is a dollar sign. Like, when I look around here, I go, okay, every person you meet is someone that not only can help you, but you're looking at like what you've done, Nick. Like, you're looking at, how can I promote you first? Because that has longevity.
Longevity. Hey, it's all about providing value. I am no good if I'm not providing value to you. And Brandon will say the same thing, dude. Like, this place, Lynn Lake. Hey, Lynn Lake, how can we provide value to you so you even think we're worth a damn?
Yeah, so you come in on a Wednesday or a Tuesday night when they're not, busy usually, and and they support you with bringing in a couple hundred people who just want to connect, drink a beer, and if they don't make connections, at least they enjoyed a good beer and have a good experience.
I have to ask, did you vote today?
I did vote today.
Did you vote for the marijuana party?
I did not vote for the marijuana party. I know it's coming, and I'm all for it.
Old boy over there gave the Timberwolf tickets. He's over by Caleb, right over there.
I'm all for it, and it's going to make a difference. But I don't know if the marijuana, cannabis now party, whatever it is going to fix it. It's going to be politics and pharmaceutical companies and...
Dude, I'm looking at that because last year, a guy, Dan Vacek, who's the founder of Legal Marijuana now, I'm friends with him, and he was running for president.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so this is 2 years ago. I voted for him, but at the same time, when I see legal marijuana now in all the avenues where you can vote, it's like, wait a minute, why would I vote for legal marijuana now for governor when Tim Walz just came out a month ago saying he is all for immediate legalization of recreational marijuana? It's like, you guys kind of got trumped.
Yeah. I don't like that pun anymore.
I know.
but they did.
Straight up, they got Trump from a Democrat.
Yeah.
So Ben, where can people reach you?
Social media. I do a new day, new drink. I started on New Avenue. That I'm just going to start drinking. And I grew up in an atmosphere that drinking alcohol was not okay, not accepted. And I realized there's this whole community in breweries and bars. And I grew up, I grew up in church, would love that. But the biggest disconnect outside of a church that people, I believe, are missing on is community. And I found in Minneapolis there is such a community in each of these breweries. Every single one's a little different. Everyone has its quirkinesses, but each one has this beauty like atmosphere to it. And so I was like, I'm just gonna start checking out new stuff, checking out new places. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Just again, my name's Ben Eberts.
Hold on, we got. You're the man behind New Day, New Drink.
Yeah,
I didn't even know this.
Yeah, it's fun, and like and I hate to go back to Gary for everything, but one of the things he said in his book that just kind of tipped me into doing stuff was like, hey, so if you invest this time and no one cares about your blog, your brewery blog or your pub, whatever, he goes, what's the worst that can happen? You had a few extra drinks and you had fun. And so that's what I looked at. I said, screw it. I'm going to explore having new drinks, whether it's in America, Minnesota, went to Italy recently. It's like, I'm just going to explore these places. And the worst thing that can happen is I had a few extra drinks and other people missed out on it. So, hey, if you don't like what it is, that's okay. I'm still going to enjoy my beer.
They're lost, mother suckers. Ben, I appreciate you. We're going to exchange contact information.
Awesome.
My brother.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
All right, I got the Brodsky brothers here. Grab your microphone, you big boy.
Man, what's going on?
Mr. Sammy.
Saw your face right when I walked in. I was pretty happy about that.
Dude. I saw your face, and then I saw another one of your faces.
And then you were wondering how many drinks you had that night.
Okay, so we've got a couple of our flying videographers from Gary V. Brandon told me a couple of professionals were rolling in, fresh from like festival season or some shit. Like fresh from the Kardashian yacht or some shit. I was like, let's go, dude.
Something like that.
So you guys have been up to like not just some little shit, but some big shit when it comes to flying out and going handling business. So have you experienced some epic shit since August 3rd?
Yeah, man. I mean, we spent 13 days on the West Coast for a travel agency, and we had a great experience with a travel agency it's a company out in Europe, and they take hundreds of kids to experience kind of the West Coast vibe. So we had a lot of partnerships, a lot of brand partnerships that we brought products on board with us while doing the travel agency work. So it's kind of a little bit of balance of shooting brand products as well as lifestyle, just footage of people having fun out in 6 different cities. We went all over the West Coast. So,
dude, that's incredible because you get to have a little bit of influence, but you get to get paid as well.
That's a pretty good way to say it, man. I mean, people travel right now is really hot.
That's purpose fulfillment right there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely like 15-hour days. It is a grind when it comes to the travel agency work, but people like it, man. They like to stay connected with all the cool adventures and whatnot we
Straight
do.
Up.
So
you said you just got done speaking and at a class. So when you go into a speaking engagement, because typically you're on the other side, dog. So what's it like? What are you going into to spit?
Yeah, we were out in Kansas City speaking at the film school at the University of Kansas. And it was a humbling experience, being on the other side in the classroom only 2 years ago and having guest speakers come in all the time. But this time being able to speak to the students about our experiences and what it's like owning a company, the good and the bad and the ugly of owning your own production company. It was really interesting hearing kind of the feedback on what the questions they had and responses to what our speech was about. So yeah, it was awesome being kind of in front instead of filming for once an event. So
being a twin, working with your twin brother, there's got to be some. What are the ups and downs of it? Because you seem to be the voice. Brandon always broke it down for me. One of you guys is the fucking business guy. The other one's the creative. Is that accurate? Kind of?
Yeah. So in a traditional production company, a lot of times there's what's called the account side, and then there's the creative side. And there's always this kind of the pull, one's trying to get more creative and one's trying to get the budgets locked in and trying to get things done on time. So it's just kind of symmetry, equilibrium that both have to exist.
I think Ben wants to talk.
So yeah,
Ben wants to say something.
Tell me about it.
The background voice wants to say something. Ben, tell us, how do you feel about Sam?
Well, yeah,
name's Ben, the other half of it. I'd say I'm more the whatever side brain is more creative. That's my side. That side. Basically, it's usually like a money battle in the big thing. It's hourly. You can't go past 8 hours, so it's keeping the reins on the project. But it's come down to a lot smaller levels of production now, where it is just a Brandon or a band that just kind of runs around with the camera, and then it really comes down to the editing. Editing's kind of become more attainable because of the technology of our laptops. They've gotten way better.
Who is the coolest person you guys have been able to film or follow around with a camera?
There's been many, but I think it all started for me really back in 2016 or probably 2014 or 15. I got to shoot, not actually, get it, the president. So Obama came through our town, and I was a videographer and photographer, and from there on, it was just a bunch of people, the Kansas basketball team, which was fun, Cardi B, a bunch of artists. I do a lot of music stuff. But coolest overall, I don't know, Gary Vee is pretty cool just to be able to be in his element. The Super Bowl was cool with all that jazz.
Shout out this man reeling him in.
No, that was super dope because I had just met you guys that day, and there wasn't just one of you, there was two of you, and you were both rocking a camera, and it was like, well, if Brandon endorses these dudes, I'm riding with them, because you already know that not just anyone was allowed kind of around us and in the green room and stuff, and it was really cool. And then the follow-up, I appreciate you guys rolling in, taking advantage of the opportunity. I hope that is a feather you guys can throw in your cap, because it's my job to put you guys to work, to continuously bring you work, because we're not stopping, as you know. We've got a lot of stuff in the works for next year. We're not just working on one meeting of the minds, we're working on two. I actually fly out of the country this Friday to begin preliminary work on next year's. So I'll be in Costa Rica for pretty much all of November in regards to precursor work for our next year's edition. So thank you guys, the frickin' fantastical twins. How about you? How about
twins.
you, Sammy? Is there someone who's because do you handle a lot of emails?
They typically call me the email guy. The account side obviously deals with a lot of sales. A lot of phone calls, a lot of paperwork, a lot of invoices, a lot of the stuff that is uncreative, man. And it can be a negative pull on the creativity if there isn't someone that's taking care of all that.
Dude, I can already tell you're taking in Gary V's sweat because you're holding the same microphone he was holding.
What was that?
You're becoming a little Gary V. You're holding his same microphone he was holding that night.
It does feel good to have that going on.
It's incredible, bro.
It is pretty cool. That was an incredible day, and I can't wait for what you have in store next year. I'm going to be 100% supportive of everything you do, posting on all the socials, and hopefully bringing out friends and family, to the event. That was a good first event right there, or that I've been to.
It was literally our kickoff event, and that's where we have to one-up it, because it's how do you pull this dude, the media mogul of the planet? How do you pull him, your first event, and where do we go from there? So Neil deGrasse Tyson, you better tell your agency to say yes to us, because we got.
I think you could have a lot more bigger issues than having just a really good first event. You could have a lot of 2 years without anyone even close to that. So,
and it went smooth.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we have to give a super shout out to Giselle Ugardi, who hosted the event for us. She made sure it was seamless. And I'm not gonna lie, pretty much all of us who were a part of that event, it's hard to expect when you're not getting much out of Gary V's end, where it's Gary V's just gonna land, and then what are you gonna fucking do? So it's how do you even coordinate or plan that, and all the way down to timing, where he stayed on stage for 20 extra minutes, to the point, what does that do? On the fly, we have to nip our crowd Q&A, which is supposed to be a big part of the event, because that's part of his events, but he had to get on a PJ and get the fuck out of Dodge,
Yeah, that's the event planning right there. It kind of reminds me a little bit of producing music videos. When the timeline doesn't go as well, you got to cut scenes. We were just in Kansas City this past week, and we were on a music video with Tech Nine's crew, and they cut an end scene. Just ran out of time. So that's just part of it. I feel like event industry, video industry, obviously with us at Brodsky Productions. I mean,
bro,
it just happens.
It's all about being a chameleon.
Yeah.
If you can't make a meeting, at least you got a twin who can step in.
Yeah, to some extent, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, let's go grab a drink. How about that?
Absolutely. Hey, pleasure always talking to you.
Appreciate it, brothers. Sammy, Benny, love you guys. I'm putting Bo Weber on the spot. Grab this microphone, sir. That's the same microphone that Gary Vaynerchuk sweat on. He left his DNA on that. You are now a part of the problem. Mr. Weber, what's your name? What's your mission?
My name is Bo Weber. My vision is to spread positivity to virtually everyone I can possibly meet and affect them in some way that's going to leave them better off than they were, whether that be through business or personal relationships.
You're the ultimate glue guy. I'm going to take the words right out of your mouth before you even say them. Bo Weber is the reason Get Me Gary V happened. This dude right here, I met him at a Kovert event last year. He introduced me to this guy, and all of a sudden it happened. Bo, you're selling yourself short because you didn't even announce the fact you're the founder of Music in Minnesota.
Yeah, I guess there's just some things that have been brought into my life through certain circumstances that I can't explain other than just positivity. And I don't think that I'm any bigger than anybody else. It's just somehow I think there's something on my side that's putting me into positions that have been, better than I deserve.
You can get anyone and their mother backstage at a show. How do you pull that off?
How do I what?
How do you can get anyone into a show. How do you pull that off, dog?
Well, I guess it started off when I literally was just trying to figure out ways so I could ways to where I could get into shows for free. And I started, I picked up a security guard job at a music festival. I did, I tried to say I was with the band. I tried to say that I had merch in my car that was for the tour, and I just tried to get in places. And eventually I just tried to start doing it the real way. I'd go to shows or I'd go to festivals, and I'd look around and I'd say to myself, okay, who here is doing the least amount of work and having the most fun? And it was the photographers. And so I started a website, musicinminnesota.com, and just started sending out emails to bands, and they started putting me on the list, and it's just took off from there.
This guy, you just did it, dog. You did it.
And that taught me so much about the fact that everyone thinks that they need to ask for permission or they need to be somebody to do something. You don't. You can literally just start something and the world will make room for you. It's crazy.
What you were just breaking down is how people can create side hustles. It's ingenuity. So, okay, I'm in A and I want to go to B. Sometimes you got to go through the middleman. Sometimes you have to get creative with how the hell you're going to get backstage. You have to get creative with how you're going to get into this interview and how I need to interview this person. How am I going to do it? I'm going to say that I'm with the band selling T-shirts. I'm not doing that. But as long as you persuade with confidence, you got it sewn up.
Yeah, I've had some friends of mine throughout, the recent past kind of tell me in a negative way that I had a manipulative way that I went about things, and then I started feeling bad about myself about that. I was like, oh wow, am I a manipulator? I don't want to be that. But then, and then I started reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I understood the positive side of it. It's not about tricking people. It's about persuading in a way that is beneficial for both sides. And that's when I just embraced it. I was like, you know what? No, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for evil. I'm doing it for good. And you just can't lose.
I know you and I have been talking quite a bit lately about auditing your circle and the importance of it, because so many people, they go into the world thinking that the world is out to screw them. And those kind of people, they're never going to bring value to relationships because they're living in this fearful mind state where it's like, wait a minute, you have to understand, I'm coming here with a 50-50 compromise. I provide you value, you provide me value, and it might just be with love. It might just be with unconditional love and friendship, but no matter what, that's filling a piece of my heart to the point where I know I want you to ride with me with whatever I'm doing because you are an asset to my life because you bring a smile, not a frown. Auditing our circle is probably the most important thing we can do for not just our circle and everyone we surround ourselves with, but personally, us, our happiness, our relationships. And I really feel like that's what you've done with your team at Music in Minnesota, because I remember that night we were at Prof, I got to meet one of your photographers, right? He was there, cool ass cat. And it's like, well, Bo's surrounding himself with winners. He's doing it, you know?
Yeah, I really can't take much of the credit, because the reason where I'm at is not only, for one, like I said, positivity, but it starts with the books I started reading when my mom passed away. And everything was about, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You are what you think. Your thoughts become things. And it just opened this door of like life was dull and like pointless, and all of a sudden it was exciting again. It was almost like a video game. Like, holy cow, I have the secret. I'm going to go to the next level. And things just started opening up. And if you adopt the things that some of these amazing philosophers and great thinkers of our time are sharing with us, your life is going to change, and the lives of the people around you are going to change. And sometimes that includes removing the negative people in your life, whether that be friends or family or people that you thought would be in your life forever. It's unfortunate, but sometimes it has to be done.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That is brilliant. That's the best quote we've heard all night, my brother. Now, where can people find you?
What's that?
Where can people find you?
You can find me online. BoWeber.com is my musician website. You can find me on musicinminnesota.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm everywhere, man.
Find him on Facebook, because this mother trucker is always giving away tickets, and he's also giving away opportunities. If you are a journalist, a photographer, he is always opening up doors for people. I cannot stress it enough. This is the glue piece for so much of what the arts and the recreation and entertainment of Minnesota represents. Bo Weber, I love you, brother.
Dude, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh my Lanta, look who I fucking scrounged up. One half of the back pocket. Hey, you can't, Decky, you can't just walk away. Decky just walks away. Damn, dude. These guys are practicing No Shave November hard. Decky's got a frickin' mustache sent from the underworld. And Andrew, he's got a mustache, but his mustache looks more adult-like. Andrew looks like he is a cast-off from Napoleon Dynamite. So I'm over here just doing commentary for them. It's kind of fucked up because now both of them put their hands in their pocket. Neither of them are even paying attention. But whatever, we'll move on. So with that being said, this is Lincoln Drink 1. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We've had so much support. We had probably about 130 people here tonight, which is great for a first event. I hope Lynn Lake Brewery appreciates it. I love you guys. All right, joke's on you. We're not done yet. Possibilities are endless when we have Mr. Fingerprint. Hey, speaking to the top of that thing.
Top of the mic? Top of the mic.
What's your name? What's your mission?
My name is Jackson Jones. My mission is to make an impact, do what I love.
Okay, cut the bullshit. You're a master woodworker.
Yeah, I just do, well, I wouldn't say master woodworker. Pretty much what it is I started making skateboards.
Yep.
And I did a lot of wood burning on them. and then that transformed into making wooden signs, all these customized stuff for people. That transformed in, so this is all handcrafted right away in the beginning. So I definitely learned the craft of woodworking right away. I learned how to do, the live edge conference tables. My woodworking mentor, just out of pure luck, his name's Alan Meltreader out of Mankato. He kind of took me in under his wing, let me work out of his shop for 6 months when I was just getting started. And
Mr. Kovert, hold on. Put that microphone in front of Mr. Kovert.
What's up? What's up?
Blake is the glue piece to everything creative going on in Minnesota. Blake, hit people with what they can get right now. You guys just had a new release, and tell them where they can find you before you leave.
Yeah, new Nina Reedy hoodie. Collaboration with Kovert, now on sale. www.covert.us.
You've seen me rocking that hoodie. That's the new one.
We got
it's
the
so
map
sick.
jacket now on sale as well via www.covert.us.
Where can people personally find you? Give them your address.
So the funny thing about Blake, it's Blake. When I first first moved to Minnesota, Blake you bought a board from me, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep.
What? Yeah, he bought a board for me, and I didn't even know it. It was Blake at the time, and it was just at this one random pop-up that we did, and he bought this board. I didn't even remember it, but years later, when he connected with Brandon Polzuk from Social Butterfly, Brandon's like, yeah, did you know Blake has one of your boards? And I was like, yo, yeah. So Blake has that just natural act of seeing that young talent and like just that local art. I saw that, you have paintings and stuff from a bunch of the like up and coming artists like like Justin Hammer and like stuff like that.
Yep. Your piece was actually one of the first pieces of art that I started to get into that. I don't know if you ever knew that.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
Damn.
One of the first pieces of art that I bought directly from the artist to support him, and now it's kind of just an ongoing thing, but I don't know if you ever knew that.
Oh, I didn't. That's heavy, man.
I think
gives me
Blake,
goosebumps.
I'm pretty sure Blake might be the second coming of Jesus Christ.
He is, and he's just that low-key guy in the industry that it's like, you want to know him. And like everyone that does know him, there's like, they shake the head. They're like, yep, no, I got it.
When it comes to creative in Minnesota, if pun intended, if Blake puts his fingerprint on it, they're the real deal. They're going to be successful. This dude right here he's a freaking, he can smell out talent like P. Diddy in the 90s.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I feel like Blake just is like sitting there just really playing those cards like you're just like the Warren Buffett, of this weird like creative world that we got going on in Minneapolis.
I don't know about that, but I'm Blake Anderson. I'm trying to build my own name,
Blake, would you please pull down your pants and just let it all hang out so we can finish you off?
It's trying to be the Dr. Dre of the apparel industry, right?
In a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm trying to be one of the biggest clothing producers for, businesses worldwide.
When it comes to B2B, break down Visionary and where people can find you.
Yeah. So we sell custom clothing products direct to business. They buy increments of 50 units, 25 units minimum from us, and they resell the goods. Big wave, with influencer marketing, social media. A lot of people are starting to find their own brand and how they can, portray it to the world, and that's what we're here to help with, basically.
And your company went over $1 million last year, correct?
No, just hit 300K today, actually.
I thought it was 1.3K.
Not
I'm
a mil.
over here tripping, dog.
No. I'm a one-man team though, so I'm hoping to multiply that, next year, hit $1 million.
Let's go, Daddy-o.
Wait. So you're a one-man team?
I'm a contractor, so I got factories all over the world that help me with my production, and then I'm the sales guy. So me personally, I have a sales team under me, and then an in-house creative director that helps me. So
Tyler, right?
Yeah, Tyler.
Shout out
does
to Tyler.
all of our design work, photo work, all the marketing stuff. I do the sales. He keeps it afloat with the creative direction. So.
And how long have you been running Fingrprint? Visionary.
Visionary has been in business for 3 years. So yeah, it's exciting to see where it's going. Truly.
Blake's story is incredible. Someday I'm gonna make him sit down and do a long form.
Yeah, shout out Frosties. Here we go.
Frosties.
That's where it all started, right?
Yes, started with the hand knitted hats. Started knitting hats when I was 15 years old. Hanging out at the board shop. Shout out Faction Board Shop. Went there every weekend. Alexandria, Minnesota, small town, but that's where I hung out growing up. So that's where the passion, inspiration, everything truly came from.
Is that what you called your hats you were knitting, Frosties? Where'd Frosties come from?
Frosty Headwear it's called. It's called Frosty Headwear. So it was, Snowman was our logo. Snowflake represented. I hand knit all the hats, custom made to order. So that made to order system was implemented in my brain at a young age. So that's where visionary really, started to take a snowball effect, you could say.
Pun intended. Are we just going to act like we don't need to get some of these Frosties in the hands of young Jeezy?
What's that?
Are we going to act like we don't need to get some of these Frosty headwear in the hands of young Jeezy?
Yeah, no, we shouldn't act like that at all. Yeah, I mean, wait, so you should tell them, why did, if I got this right, Frosties got shut down, right, because of, like, Dairy Queen or something like that?
Wendy's trademark really slowed me down. I tried to fight it for like a year, trying to get the Frosty trademark, and Wendy's has it on lock for the ice cream shake or whatever. And I could not get past it. I'm like, I have a winter hat brand that I'm hand knitting these hats, and I was trying to obviously scale that one day, but that's really where it came from. And it's like, it's so different. It's so different. Like, it's still, like, to this day, I'm like, I'm going to bring Frosty back, and I'm just going to let them sue me. Because I love the idea still. To this day, I love, the idea of Frosty headwear. And if I see anyone trying to take that, I'll hunt them down, because that's my baby.
But Blake's coming for you.
Bro, I have Kovert headwear. But, like, nothing. I'm not going to be able to get Frosty off my mind unless I'm rocking this winter. Okay, Blake, I love you, brother. Thank you. We're going to talk soon.
Appreciate you guys.
I need a Frosty hat, dude. This conversation does not stop here. Okay? Big boy?
Yeah. I want to be back.
Okay.
I want to be back. I'll be back.
You're coming back, motherfucker.
You'll be back. Here we go.
You're going to tell your story. All right, that was Blake.
Yeah, what a good drop in.
Dude, thank you for co-interviewing that.
Yeah, dude, I always want to, I love podcasts. Yes. I always love the interviews and hopping in, and like eventually one day when it makes sense for me, I think I'm gonna start my own. I think I already got the name kind of figured out.
What?
I'm thinking like Jackson and Company or Jackson and Friends, something like that. It's still in the works. Maybe Jackson Jones, full name. I think Jackson Jones, full name, and. Then I think I'm going to take like a Joe Rogan type approach to it and just long form podcasts. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy the most is just like 2-3 hour podcasts where I can really just dive into it and we just sit down and talk and just ball on different topics. Like I know that you're one of those guys that can like just, ramble on whatever topics that we can get into. And I enjoy that type of podcast form.
You know what the worst is? When they're a strict 1 hour podcast, but you end up at the gym for like an hour and a half. And it's like, wait a minute, motherfucker. I searched and I found the right podcast when I got to the gym. I got 2 more sets left or some shit, and I got to get on the elliptical, and now I'm in the middle
and
stroking.
Your brain's like halfway, like just kind of like screwed up. You're just out of it because you've just been in the podcast game so long. If it was a good podcast, you're just like, and then when it stops, you're just like, ooh. I do that sometimes, and then I have to go into work, and I'm just like, I bartend on my part-time job, so I'm just like still thinking about how heavy this podcast was in my head, and trying to talk to people. It's just coming back to reality. It's like, yeah, no, I mean, like the people that cut it off, I get it. Like some people like those short-form podcasts, but I'm a 3-hour type of dude. Like I'm plugging that shit in. I'm walking around all day with it. That's the best. Like fuck. All right, not fuck reading a book because reading is great if you do it. But I mean, listening all day, man.
Audio, they've actually done studies in retention, so it's slightly below reading, or not even slightly, it's quite a bit low from what we retain as opposed to reading. But don't get me wrong, you can re-listen to a podcast and it just gets more and more ingrained in you, because I grab so much knowledge. All my supplementation programming is all based on certain podcasts that I've listened to. Now I know this goes with this to help produce serotonin and so much more.
No, you're really all about those supplements, though, aren't you?
It's I wouldn't imagine life without it, Jackson.
So Alpha Brain, give me overall rating out of 10.
Well, okay, so
is that the best way to do it?
No. I have to compare it to ecstasy.
Okay.
And Adderall. Okay. So if you compare it to ecstasy and Adderall, it would be like a 7. But if you compare it to other nootropics, it's a 10. It's the creme of the creme in the game of nootropics. You can't, dude. You should only take ecstasy like 8 times in your life.
Yeah.
You should only take Adderall for maybe 2 years out of your life. You get my drift? Like, it's not a long-lasting drug.
Exactly. It's every now and then. That's what I understand. So you take it daily?
If I have things that I have to accomplish, typically not so much accomplish, but more or less conversationally, then I'll take them. If I have a day full of meetings where I have to be clicking and I want to prevent then yes, I'm going to take my Alpha Brain. Earlier today, I took my 3 Alpha Brain. It's just a nootropic. It's a bunch of vitamins put together and then a little bit of their Alpha GPC or whatever that is, and your brain clicks.
It just helps everything with the brain.
But
do you meditate?
Absolutely.
What do you do? What do you use? Do you do guided meditation?
I love guided meditation, but the guided meditation I do is only 18 to 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll cut it off.
That's still powerful. I mean, anything longer than that, it's like you got to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like meditation's no joke. I just started it recently and using Headspace, and the guided meditation is only when I can get my brain to actually start focusing. I'm not that good at controlling my thoughts yet. But I did one 30-minute meditation and I was exhausted.
It brings you back to this baseline where it's like, okay, I am going to go be productive now. And I'm sure you've realized this, your conversations after the fact, after you meditate, you're they're more fulfilling conversations.
Yeah.
You get a little bit more out of them.
Yeah, I agree. You start to pick up things, even when I'm counting stuff, if I have to count, for instance, when I bartend, I have to count just the money. If I had to count $100 out, I'm way better at just consistently counting and just going and not messing up at all. And that's just from that simple 10 minutes when I wake up, 10 minutes when I go to bed. It's had an amazing effect on just everything and just controlling the way things come in. Stuff happens with the business and it's not good or it's really good. You're just kind of we're good. It kind of levels you out a lot more.
Meditation is a performance enhancer for human beings.
Yeah.
Which means we should all be doing it. Why stop your meditation once you wake up? Because sleeping is the ultimate form of meditation. You're calming everything to the point you can get into a comatose state. That's the goal with meditation, but you're trying to do it in an awakened state to the point you calm your mind completely. But guess what? We have this thing called the blabber, or our fucking ego that just wants to talk and talk and talk. And guess what? This is what I learned. I actually had a shaman down in Peru tell me this. Nick, guess what? You can tell that ego to chill out. And guess what? If he doesn't, you accept it. You accept it. What I do is I picture a hook floating in the wind in my brain. And every thought that comes through is a thought getting hooked on that hook. But guess what? You picture that hook and it rips off. And then it's free thought again.
So is the hook your ego?
No, the hook is it's a baseline for my meditational state.
Gotcha.
So picture a hook floating in the wind, and each thought, put a form to the thought, and then it gets hooked, it gets caught up, and then it goes away. And then it's gone again. And then continuously just picture that hook floating in the wind, floating in the wind. And that's your focus point. That's your baseline. And then guess what? You can't be fucking stopped.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. The way so my hook is, I compare it to, or what Headspace compares it to is you're sitting on the side of the road and cars are coming each direction, right? And you're just sitting there and the cars represent your thoughts. So, everything just comes and goes, man. Sometimes it's the good with the bad, there's honking and, sometimes everything's flowing nicely, but sometimes everything's jammed up and you just have to really exactly. Like you said with the hook, like it eventually everything rips off and it's just the hook again. And no, that's meditation. Yeah, it's a real killer right now for me.
And people who won't give it the time, that's okay. That's why there are apps like Headspace. I use what is it, mind rolling? I used to, because I don't really need guided meditation anymore. But the one I do, I have a go-to on YouTube. And I tell you what, Eckhart Tolle and Raghu Marcus are incredible because they have that soft, soothing voice.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
That is a big thing.
Huge.
Big thing. I've been doing it now. I've literally been getting addicted to it. I have a very addictive personality, and like I've been doing it when I'm going on runs. I've like it's different sort of guy. Like I'm telling you, Headspace is like $100 for the year, but like it was just literally my like temples are like fucking pulsing, and you know it. Like when you have that serotonin really built up, and you feel your temples just really just radiating, and you're like, I am like literally top of my game right now, and
can't be fucking stopped.
Just can't be stopped with, and just coming from someone who has fucked like obviously I wouldn't ever take like Molly in a business terms, but Adderall, for instance, like coming with that is like that's just such a not a long-term drug, and it's like it's great for the first 12 hours or whatever, but then you crash hard and your serotonin is dropped. But like just these short like consistent sleep, consistent meditation, consistent exercise, you're just building like just such a powerhouse.
I strongly suggest and push Alpha Brain onto any creative and onto any person who is thriving on being creative. It is so important because it's not a drug. It's a performance-enhancing supplement.
Yep.
It's a nootropic meant, and a lot of people take it before they sleep because it does enhance their dreams. They get very vivid dreams, and it's something where, bro, you owe it to yourself to be productive and to be A1. I hate going into days, especially when I know I have this, and this to accomplish, and this are very big. I'm getting paid to do them. I cannot come up short playing junior varsity. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
This is real life. This is the professional world.
Yep.
Look at us, bro. We're surrounded in a room with professionals. This is all we do is do.
Yep, exactly. And it's like you got to show up every single day. Like this isn't anymore like we're in college trying to figure it out anymore. This is a career. This is it. This is it. Like, and that's what I've been starting to like sit down and realize like, holy shit, this actually is like, now I'm starting to become an adult. You know, I'm like paying for my own shit and obviously all that jazz, but like, you know, it's such a weird like transition of you're not figuring it out anymore. You're like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. And like, you know, for me, I dropped out of college my sophomore year, and I mean, I got a lot of heat for it at first because I was kind of this poster child in the College of Business because I won this business competition in Mankato, and so I became like their marketing campaign pretty much. And so it was definitely a little bit of a dirty move on my part. I won $10,000 from the school, and then I dropped out the next semester. So like I feel it. I'd be a little bit mad too. But like, look. They give me money to run my business, so like that's what I'm gonna go do, and that's what I'm gonna go do. And so now they were salty with me, and like they, you know, 1 year has passed since all that, and you know, things like my vision's starting to play out, and you know, and so like now when I go and talk with the dean of the College of Business, Brenda, and you know, and it's good. She finally is starting to, you know, to get it, like understand it. Like when I tell her like orders are starting to come through, and like, you know, I'm working. I just landed like a project with the company that donated the $10,000 originally. So like, yeah, so the 10,000.
And I know the number of that project, and that paid for your guys' new fucking laser printer.
Yeah, not that one, but a different one.
Yep. A different one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like, and I'm not even, I'll go ahead and like say it on record. Like, so after Primate, the skateboard company, I started another company called Fingrprint when we specialize in wholesale custom corporate gifts.
FNGR print, right?
Yep, no E. Yep, Fingerprint with no E. And that's because fingerprintwithane.com was taken already, so it was just as simple as that.
The fucking
drop the E. You don't even need it. And so I started that. So custom wholesale gifts, we make like wooden wine boxes, coaster sets, slate plates, water bottles, really like gifts that aren't corny and cheap. And we work strictly with business to business. So we work a lot with banks, development companies.
Beneke Builders, Powers Ventures, Quick Trip, Vayner Media.
Yep, exactly. Some key names, United Prairie Bank, Lloyd Companies, Sioux Falls, just these mid-level, maybe not Fortune 500 companies, but maybe Fortune 5,000 companies and mid-level companies. And we, 'cause these companies want really, they have all these companies have top clients that are giving them millions of dollars every year, and they want to give them a gift that doesn't suck. And so that's where they go through us. And so when I had this idea and I knew that was the direction we needed to go, I knew we had to get this 4x8 laser cutter, which was $16K. I didn't have that money. I know I just won $10,000 a year before, but at this point that money was gone, just getting spent on my bills. And we were throwing it still in a skateboard company. And so that by the time it came to where I wanted to make a big purchase, I didn't have any of that money left. And so I'm going around bank to bank looking for people to lend me money. And, who would have thought when you're a young 20-year-old with no credit in a startup business, there's not a lot of people that are going to be willing to lend you any money. Big surprise. And luckily enough, that one of the judges in that business competition that I won owns a bank in Mankato. I reached out to him, just last resort. I was like, hey, I need this laser, all this and that. Is there anything that we can do? And he's like, hey, let's meet up and talk more. And he talked and he kind of looked at my numbers. He just was bleeding passion when I was meeting with him and said, like, this is going to work if we can make it work. And he was like, how about I can't run you through our system in the bank, but how about I lend you 20 grand personally, and I don't want equity. I'm going to give you a 3.5% interest rate, so like a very generous interest rate. Yeah.
Oh, that's less than $1,000.
Yeah, less than $1,000. It's like he gave me an interest rate of like a 50-year-old man with a steady job and like a house. You know what I mean? Like I got he said, I don't want anything. I just want to help you out. And like, obviously an unspoken like relationship, like you're always going to work with my bank, so like, that's fine. Great. I can do that. And so I took that bet, bought a 16K laser, 6 months, developed the products, the website, the product menu, just me and Brandon Polzu, Social Butterfly, owns 10% of, and but he's not helping in the shop or anything. He helps bring in clients and marketing, stuff like that. And so after those 6 months, I'm getting more nervous of like what's actually going to happen. And first sale I landed was an $18,000 order. Just fucking knocks it out of the park. So I'm just like, thank God, that paid for most of the laser. And then and this is all right now, so it's like Christmas time, and so then after that, things just kept rolling, and next thing you know, we get $3,000 order, $1,000 order, another $4,000 order, and like all this is just, and I'm just plugging through these orders with this laser, and like as I speak in Minneapolis, the shop's in Mankato, the laser's running right now. Like I'm making $50 an hour just being here speaking. The laser's running right now. It's like the best employee ever. Doesn't say shit, works all the time, and it's just perfect. It feels like it's cheating a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, and it's not. It's just a really good strategy.
Stop it. You've capitalized on the 21st century. You are a forward thinker, Jackson. Don't sell yourself short. Exactly. There's a reason why these powerful people have believed in you, and there's also a reason why we all believe in you and why we're all here together, because we are the forward thinkers of the bunch. We are the ones who are doing. We're not sitting back saying, someone please do it for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I agree, and I couldn't agree more. And it's funny, this like little circle of Minneapolis and like Minnesota people that we got going here. And it's going to be really funny to see like what happens in 5-6 years from now, and like how much of us actually come through and make it.
Oh, Matt, you can't just walk up to me with a big ass box and act like Nick doesn't want it. What is this thing, dog? Huh? Custom stuff? Are we going to announce it on the podcast? You're holding that box. What's that?
We did that for you guys. No,
I don't know what this thing is.
This is a local customer.
Really? I want to see it. Huh? Are we talking about across the street? No, that's Jungle Theater. Urban Jungle. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, really? 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 Who's that for? Is Lizette here? Damn, I wanted to announce her on the voice changer. I got a voice changer. We can make her sound like a man or a woman. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. So we're gonna talk about it. Hold on. Let's announce it. Jackson, Fingerprint. Where can people find you?
You can find me personal at Jackson L. Jones on IG. For business at Fingerprint_ Fingerprint spelled with no E, and then www.fingersprint.com, and then Fingerprint everywhere else. And hit me up if you want some dope corporate gifts.
Straight up, I'll show you guys some of the coasters he made. He makes all sorts of cool stuff. He gets flown out, just built a freaking staircase for a rich person in New York City. It was incredible. I saw him lounging on the rooftop, just straight in his underwear. It was kind of weird, but it was very cool.
You know, that's just how we roll. And yeah, 4 blocks away from Times Square, it was just, I was balling that day, but it's not always like that.
My brother Fingerprint, this is my man. He actually made our light boxes for Get Me Gary V. Sir. That just shows how our community is built. We really believe in kind of boosting our friends up and really doing the damn thing. So Jackson, thank you. We're going to talk soon.
I appreciate it, man.
Step up to the plate, big dog. Who's stepping up? What do we got here? Matt, what are you introducing me to? What's up, man?
I'm Neff.
What's that?
Neff.
Hey, talk in the microphone.
My name's Neff. Nice to meet you, man.
Neff, is it N-E-P-H?
N-E-F-F. 2 Fs.
Hey, you got that right there. That's your best friend right there.
All right.
Neff, N-E-F-F.
Yeah.
What are you working on, dog?
Like the job that pays, or what am I, like, with the marketing?
Okay, so you hit me with your
aspect of
name. Now, what's your mission?
I work for Frito-Lay. I sell potato chips.
Okay.
That's what pays my bills currently.
Damn, dog, I could have definitely used some of those fucking things.
Yeah, I love
I need
that
some
shit.
carbs in my life, man.
All that Doritos, Tostitos. It comes in handy during football season right now.
Straight up, dog.
Yeah.
Okay, so what isn't paying the bills then? Let's get into your side hustle.
Side hustle, graffiti got me into pretty much everything that I'm doing right now. I'm trying to do a clothing line, but right now it doesn't make no money, but that's fine.
I don't care.
I got some shit for sale right next door, actually, at Legacy Glassworks. It's
Really?
like,
Really?
yeah.
So you blow glass?
No, that's not me. But then they gave me a spot, or like, they let me bring my stuff in where they do like a commission, or not commission, consignment. Yeah, consignment out there. So I got a couple things in their store there.
Yeah. So your end game goal is to, I want to be a mogul in fashion. I want to be a mogul in influence. I want to just basically be a man of art. What's your end game goal?
Just basically not waking up every day and hating my job. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah. Just
and
trying
it's so
to chill.
important, bro. Like I found myself in a factory job like probably like 4 years ago. I gave up on sales. I was a development director at a company. And I gave up on sales, and I just wasn't vibing with it. I wanted to go be just, because coming out of high school, I was working construction and climbing trees. That's what I was doing. I was sweating balls, burning calories every single day. But what that does is it humbles the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
So then once I graduated from that factory job, I went back into sales. But guess what? This is what I did. So I went and I made my money in sales. That winter, when business was slow, I went and became a janitor. Why did I do that? Just to humble myself.
Yeah.
This is fucking 2.5 years ago, just to do it. I didn't need the money.
Yeah.
It was travel money. But the thing is I did it because it kept me humble, it kept me baseline, and it kept me where I needed to be so I could dream and know where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Get my drift? And that's what it sounds like where you're at right now, where it's like, bro,
it's a tough job.
This might be my 9 to 5 that's paying the bills, but at the same time, I know mentally, and my coworkers know, this ain't my fucking end game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not a very, it's a tough job, but yeah, it does pay the bills, and me personally, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm fucking potato chip salesman of the year. That's not my shit, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Bro, I want to know, you got to let us in on this. Who's the motherfucker blowing all the extra air in the freaking Lay's chips?
What's that?
Who's the motherfucker blowing all the extra air in all the bags?
It's there for the protection of the chips. You don't want a bag of broken chips. That's what they tell us to tell you guys.
Dude, corporate salesman. What the fuck is this, dog?
Hey, they pay my bills, so I gotta.
Hey, it's NEFF.
Yeah, NEFF.
Where can people find you?
My Instagram for my graffiti art is at the one that does the faces, and the Instagram for my clothing brand is at Nefarious NEPHARIOUS Lifestyle Company.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
The man
Thanks
Neff.
for letting me shout my shit out. Of course, bro.
Eat the mic, you big boy. I finally landed the Back Pocket Podcast, boys. The Back Pocket Podcast.
We're here. We're live, baby.
That's Andrew. He looks like the dad of the bunch.
This is Decky Mustache, dude.
Yeah, this is Decky, fucking Napoleon Dynamite of the bunch.
Yo, they've been calling me the porn star at work, and I just don't think that's like totally acceptable. Because I've put in like a whole month's work into this mustache, and Andrew grows his out in 3 days and just puts me to sleep.
Yeah,
it's
but
not good.
Do you brush your teeth in the morning?
Yeah. I do.
So you see yourself in the mirror then?
Yeah.
So can you doubt them?
No, because Nick, this is the best I've ever looked, and it's not even close.
You know what the one thing is, Andrew, about people who they work really hard at their first ever mustache? They always get a weird black comb to go with it. And it's probably the obnoxiousness that we put into finally growing. Like you have, because let's be honest, up top of your lip we have 4 soul patches. We don't have a full mustache. We have like this little compartment, this little community, this little community.
It's like a few dresser drawers.
Bro,
like
like
what's inside the drawer? I don't know.
What's inside the drawer? I don't know. I can already feel what in between this nostril and this nostril feels for your tongue. You get what I'm saying? What is that? Oh, couple weeks. You fucking
It's a
big boy.
flavor saver, dude. And it's actually acting as a flavor saver for the first time in my life. So I'm taking pride in it. But again, it's wildly average to say the least.
Hey, at least you have built yourself a conversation starter.
That's right. It's content is really why I'm doing it.
That's what it is. So has it been a talking point for a little while, Andrew?
100%. I mean, we're out here in November, in Movember, rocking mustaches. We got a roommate here with a mustache. We're here at Lincoln Drink with a initial conversation piece that is unbreakable. It's impeccable. And I'm very stoked about it.
It kind of is. And the thing is you got to realize you need to own this because you're going to age. And as you get older, it's going to get to the point where your youth and the fact you could never grow a mustache and you'll be a 30-year-old like me still unable to grow a mustache. Doesn't matter, baby boy. Doesn't matter. Because the old Sandpaper over here, this dude is forced to look like he's 40 when he's not 40. You get my drift? He can't help it. But, dude, you own it. Own the youth. Like, you can still get away with a Gumby costume for Halloween. Oh, Andy can't, dude. Andy's got to be a cowboy before too long.
I could dress up as a high school kid until I'm at least 30.
Hey, yo, Tekashi 6ix9ine, chill out, bro. Hey, so you guys threw an epic. I'm sorry, I could not make it up to the Halloween party. You guys threw an epic party. All right, now what the hell went on? I need to hear some dirty details because you guys had our friends at Yam House playing the party.
Yeah, first off, mad respect to all the people that went into it. A ton of gratitude. I mean, first off, you were a glue piece without you even knowing it. Yam House to start, just an engine to kick it going. They put out for us, and I mean, from the start, they were super upfront and just let us know, like, hey, if you want to throw this event, this is what we need, and that's exactly what we wanted. They laid it down on the table, and we're like, hell yeah, let's grasp this, and let's run with it, and it took us 30 days. We did a little trickle-down marketing, and we made it happen. Halloween costumes, Bauhaus Brew Labs with a beer sponsor, and in our backyard. I mean, nothing cooler than a backyard concert.
What did the shitty weather do for it?
we were hoping and praying the entire time, because when we had you on our podcast not too long ago, you're like, yeah, I don't throw parties or events or anything unless I'm guaranteed at least decent weather, because if I throw an event in February and there's a goddamn snowstorm or something, then that's something I can't control and all my hard work goes to waste. Well, we're sitting here 30 days out, 20 days out, 10 days, 2 days out. Looks like we got rain, and we were just hoping and praying, baby. Just hoping and praying, big boy.
We had the backup plan. We had the heaters ready. We had the indoor acoustic ready. We were ready to throw the party inside. If it came to that, we cleared out all the furniture. We weren't going to stop it. There was nothing going to derail this train. We were full force, chew the whole thing.
Choo-choo, mother sucker, Thomas the Train. So who won best dressed or best costume?
We had a friend of a friend of a friend, which is always what you want when Jack Sparrow, dude, the guy, in the, I want to say it's like the second or third Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's got his eyes closed, but he's got like the 8 eyes painted on top of him.
Yeah.
He like went all out, Jack Sparrow, just looking beautiful. Had to give it right to him. I didn't even know the guy's name, so when I announced, like halfway through the concert, I went up there and announced it.
Rook, like the chess piece.
Oh, his name's Rook?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to give it to Rook. I had no idea what his name was, but I went up there and I was like, best costume goes to Jack Sparrow. And like everyone knew because his costume was so damn good.
Yeah.
Came up, got his free back pocket t-shirt, and finished the concert.
What I just need to say is, total mad respect out to you for throwing an event the way you did. First off, we had more anxiety those 30 days than I've ever experienced in my entire life. And it was a small event in my backyard. Granted, it took like all of our willpower to pull it off. But just thinking about what you were able to pull off over 9 months, 8 months, more than that, your whole, everything leading up to that, it's beyond me. So you helped give us that inspiration with just what you were able to pull off. We're like, all right, this is in our backyard. Nick was able to do this. We got to be able to leverage that type of mentality and put it in our own terms. So thank you.
Yeah, the only difference is you guys didn't have a brand new baby in between.
Oh.
Dude, I had a brand new baby, too. That was the craziest part. It was beyond throwing the biggest event my city's ever seen. It was having a baby. That was the weirdest part, because it's like, thank God my wife has she took 3 months off. So thank God she had 12 weeks off. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. But the thing is we all connected, and then we've been able to continue our connection. And when it trickles down or it trickles out, or the butterfly effect takes place, and you guys are able, because no matter what, if you guys are ever doing anything like that, you got to make sure you hit me up. You got to make sure you hit up Giselle, because even if I'm not able to attend, I'll guide you in the right direction. We'll get you your shirts, whatever the fuck it may be, where it's like, let's just get them dialed in, because if my friends succeed, we all succeed. And that's what we all need to realize with events like this, where it's like, wait a minute, I come here and I want to get business cards, and I want to make sure all these motherfuckers not only know who I am, but they can all succeed. And then we can siphon this bitch up, and it turns in from a little windstorm to a typhoon. Get my drift? Mm-hmm. And that's what I want out of my friends' parties, my friends' house parties. Dude, you guys have the cliche of a college house in fucking Uptown. Straight up, these guys have just when you thought the rooms ended, no more rooms. Just when you thought the levels ended, no more levels, more cum stains, more freaking beer fridges. You know what I'm saying? More freaking panties everywhere.
It was the find of this house has led us to the next thing. With the fact that we have a podcast studio in our house with room to spare is beyond me. And
sick.
The party was a culmination of everything. Our friends showed up. Our friends of our friends showed up. It was a close-niched event, and over 100 people were there, and it was a success. I honestly think nothing that we didn't want to happen happened. Everything, it was 5 stars. We loved it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys contracted everything under the sun. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. Well, having my brothers here, we can't quite announce big plans for the future. We can't spill beans. But the thing is, we got some shit in the works, and some big things are about to pop off with the Back Pocket Boys and the Stationary Astronauts. We're going to leave it at that. We're going to not talk any more shit about poor old Dickie's mustache. Bro, I did Movember like 2-3 years ago, and I'll never forget. It was Sunday night football, and my sister was having a little party. It was probably a Vikings game. And my cousin walks in, and it's my little cousin, like my little 17-year-old cousin, goes into talking shit. She told me I was the gym teacher that wasn't allowed at the school anymore. That's what she told me, bro.
Yo, get this. I work at a construction company called PCL, and there are tower crane operators, and they have controls of the radios. It's for communication to everyone. And they have viewpoint, they have vantage point of me, of like the office trailers where I typically reside. And I walked out one day, and one of the crane operators was like, the PCL porn star is now entering the job site. So I'm a full-on porn star now, which I do want to elaborate on a little bit, because I feel like porn star is just such an outdated way. Like, what kind of porn you watching where you got dudes with Movember stashes just going at it? Like, I just don't think it's such an outdated thing, you know?
To be honest, when he says that, I think he's bringing you back to the golden age.
Yeah, of porn.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's actually kind of a compliment.
It is.
Yeah. Burt Wellington.
Burt Wellington.
Burt Wellington here to steal sets again. Don't mind if I come in with my 8 inches, mother sucker. Step aside, Mr. 10. I got the Movember going on for me, mother sucker. She'll still get pleased.
Yeah, you got the upper dick, the flavor saver.
The flavor saver. You come in, that awkward ass music. Okay, so boys, before we end this, where can people find you and what's coming next?
We have, let's see, today is November 6th. We have about a month and a half's worth of podcasts left, which means we have 8 podcasts left, roughly. 8 to 12 podcasts left in our season 2. We're coming live to you season 3. We got some big stuff. We're taking a month hiatus, ready to get after it.
You can find us all on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, at the Back Pocket Podcast. You know where it's at. You know the drill. Find us. Take it live.
If you don't know, now you know, mother suckers. All right, Back Pocket Podcast. We started this beast off, and we're going to end it with you boys. Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming out to Lincoln Drink 001. Brought to you by Social Butterfly, Stationary Astronauts, Unreal, everybody and their mother. Shout out to Lynn Lake, right? Shout out to Lynn Lake. We love you guys. Peace out.